No snake has set foot in Zootopia in forever.
Keep the music playing, 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 playing.
There's a snake!
Stop in the name of the law!
Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Zootopia 2 is one of the most highly anticipated animated sequels of the decade, thanks to the global success of the first film, which won millions of hearts with its intelligent humor, heartfelt storytelling, and fresh perspective on inclusion and diversity. The first movie introduced audiences to a world where animals live like humans, building cities, careers, and relationships while navigating their differences in size, instincts, and culture. It was not simply a fun animated comedy. It was a layered story about discrimination, stereotypes, dreams, and overcoming fear. Now Zootopia 2 arrives with the weight of expectations and the excitement of a larger world waiting to be explored, promising a brand new journey for Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde, the dynamic duo who prove that anyone can be anything. The sequel begins with Judy Hopps continuing her role as one of the most respected police officers in the Zootopia Police Department. She has already broken every stereotype that ever tried to limit her. As a small rabbit in a big city dominated mostly by strong predators, Judy has shattered the belief that prey animals can't serve in law enforcement. Her commitment to justice and hope has not only changed her own life, but also influenced society around her. Nick Wilde, who once lived as a sly hustler and con artist, has rebuilt his reputation and is proudly serving beside Judy as a police officer. Their partnership, grounded in mutual trust, banter, and bravery, is now stronger than ever. Fans are ready to witness how their relationship evolves, whether into deeper friendship or possibly something more emotional. Zootopia 2 dives into a larger narrative canvas, and the story expands far beyond the city we saw before. The filmmakers have teased new environments, including possibly new regions, ecosystems, and unexplored zones. After all, the original Zootopia map hinted at many biomes that didn't get full screen time. Audiences are eager to see if the sequel will finally uncover the secrets behind hidden areas, or question how different species are managing to coexist in the growing population. With more animals, more voices, and more conflicting ideologies, harmony becomes harder to maintain, opening the door for powerful new storylines that deal with unity, identity, and the pressures of modern society. At the center of this adventure, a brand new threat emerges, one that challenges the balance between predators and prey once again. But unlike the first movie, where the conflict was based on fear and instinct, the sequel is expected to explore deeper psychological, political, and social issues. Some rumors suggest that panic and misinformation might play a bigger role, testing the citizens' willingness to trust each other. Through this, Judy and Nick must face moral dilemmas that define their growth as protectors of peace. They will be forced to question not only the law, but the true meaning of justice in a world full of differences. Fans are also
curious to discover whether the villains,
in this story, operate from the shadows with clever manipulation, or appear boldly with pure intimidation.
Zootopia has always been a place where anything can look harmless on the surface, yet hide true intentions beneath. This unpredictable environment shapes the heroes in surprising ways. Judy's optimism may be challenged by harsh realities she never imagined, while Nick's street-smart sarcasm could become a tool for survival or even leadership.
Their blend of strengths continues to prove that different backgrounds can make a partnership unbreakable. As the plot deepens, Zootopia 2 promises to further explore cultural diversity among animals.
Every district, from Tundra Town to Sahara Square and Little Rodentia, represents a unique lifestyle and identity.
The sequel may spotlight how animals adapt and clash when their personal spaces overlap in such a massive city. Comedy will arise from misunderstandings and personality clashes, while touching scenes will emerge from empathy and shared struggles.
Disney's storytelling formula thrives on emotional transformation,
and this movie seems poised to deliver some of the most heartfelt
moments in the franchise yet. Another exciting angle
revolves around the younger audiences,
who adored the lively world building and funny character interactions.
The filmmakers aim to preserve that fun while adding more depth for adults who appreciate thought-provoking themes.
The first movie succeeded because it appealed to viewers of every age, not as a childish fantasy, but as a mirror to real-world challenges.
Zootopia 2 is expected to build on that legacy by telling a story where dreams and reality collide once more. Through every scene, the sequel might remind us that prejudice can take new shapes, and unity always requires effort, patience, and compassion. The return of beloved supporting characters adds more excitement. Chief Bogo, Clawhauser, Bellwether, Flash the Sloth from the DMV, and Mr. Big all have the potential to bring humor, drama, or shocking twists.
But what fans anticipate the most is the introduction of new characters who could shift the direction of the story entirely.
New allies may introduce new perspectives, and new villains may raise the stakes higher than ever. Whenever Zootopia grows, the storytelling universe expands with infinite possibilities. Visually, Zootopia 2 is expected to raise the bar of animation technology. Disney has evolved drastically since 2016, and improved fur simulation, lighting, crowd animation, and biome effects will bring stunning realism to the movie. The city will feel more alive, vibrant, and enormous. A place that breathes with personality and movement in every corner. Each district will showcase its own color palette, climate effects, and dynamic action moments that embrace the complexity of this animal metropolis. The result will be a visually immersive experience that pulls audiences deeper into the world. Music will also play a critical role, with energetic and emotional tracks that capture adventures and dilemmas.
The possibility of music icons contributing new songs creates additional buzz. Just like Shakira's Try Everything became iconic, Zootopia 2 might deliver another anthem of courage and hope, a song that motivates fans long after the movie ends. Box office analysts and fans alike believe Zootopia 2 could become a major hit.
The original film grossed over $1 billion, proving that audiences crave stories that entertain their hearts and challenge their minds. The sequel has the potential to surpass that milestone if the narrative resonates with global viewers.
With the movie releasing in a time where social messages hold great significance, Zootopia 2 becomes more than just entertainment. It becomes a voice for themes like acceptance, teamwork, equality, and celebrating differences. In summary, Zootopia 2 is gearing up to be a powerful continuation of a world where animals live just like us, making mistakes,
learning lessons, and striving for a peaceful life. Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde are symbols of hope in a divided society, and their journey reminds us that courage isn't about being fearless, it's about facing fear head-on. The movie offers laughter, surprises, wisdom, and suspense, wrapped inside a fun animated package that families can enjoy together.
From daring missions to emotional growth, and from new threats to renewed unity, Zootopia 2 promises an unforgettable ride that will leave
audiences inspired and cheering for more stories in this incredible universe. This is only the beginning, and the adventure is ready to take a bigger leap into the unknown. Zootopia's heart beats louder than ever, calling us to join Judy and Nick once again in their mission to prove that everyone, no matter their size, nature, or past, deserves a chance to become something extraordinary. Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde have grown into two of the most iconic characters in modern animated cinema. In Zootopia 2, their storyline evolves beyond what we saw in the first film. No longer rookie officers proving themselves,
but now fully recognized protectors of the city.
Trusted by civilians and respected by the Zootopia Police Department. Their duty has expanded, and so has the weight of responsibility on their shoulders. As society becomes more complex and the city grows even larger,
Judy and Nick must learn to operate under heightened expectations,
facing challenges that test them physically, emotionally, and morally. Judy Hopps remains the enthusiastic heart of the ZAPD. Her determination is infectious, her optimism unbreakable, and her courage unstoppable.
She knows that justice is not a one-time victory. It requires consistency, empathy, and persistence.
With every new assignment, she pushes herself to be a better officer. But Zootopia 2 introduces her to situations where her signature positivity alone cannot solve problems. She must learn when to take risks, when to step back, and how to lead others in times of chaos. The role of a police officer is no longer just catching bad guys. It is maintaining peace in a city where differences create both beauty and tension.
Judy must understand evolving social issues, the silent frustrations of the prey population, and the lingering distrust among predators who once faced discrimination. Nick Wilde,
on the other hand, has officially turned his life around. Becoming an officer was more than a job change. It was a transformation of identity. After growing up in a world that told him predators were naturally untrustworthy, Nick believed he could never escape the stereotypes tied to his species.
But Judy proved him wrong, and helped unlock the potential that had always been buried beneath the surface.
In the sequel, Nick's witty intelligence, street-smart instincts, and charming sarcasm become essential tools in their missions.
He uses skills shaped by hardship to solve problems that rule followers like Judy might struggle with.
Nick's perspective allows him to think beyond traditional policing. He understands those who feel excluded by the system, making him invaluable when the duo works in unpredictable environments. Despite their shared goals, their methods still differ. And that contrast is what makes their partnership extraordinary. Judy is disciplined and procedural, while Nick is improvisational and flexible. In Zootopia 2, the stakes rise when they are tasked with citywide security operations, tackling crimes that work in shadows rather than back alleys.
Their duty now involves undercover missions, advanced surveillance, and negotiations involving political leaders and influential figures.
The sequel might explore growing tensions in society. Predators now fear becoming oppressed again, prey worry about their safety, and both sides suffer from rumor-driven distrust.
As law enforcement officers, Judy and Nick must bring balance before panic escalates into another crisis. Their promotion within the ZPD opens new doors as well as new rivals.
Some officers still quietly doubt that a fox and a rabbit deserve such prominent roles. The department's internal politics could become a plot point. Perhaps certain high-ranking officials dislike how much media attention Judy and Nick receive, believing their success overshadows other officers. These tensions push Judy to defend not only the citizens, but also the honor and dignity of her partner. Nick, meanwhile, continues to prove himself rather than letting critics provoke him. He has learned that real change takes time, and he is willing to work for it every single day. One of the major themes the sequel expands upon is trust, the core of their bond.
Their friendship has been tested, healed, and strengthened.
Now, their duty requires trust in others as well. They must collaborate with officers who enforce rules differently, and question motives that aren't always clear. Zootopia 2 might challenge Nick to take a leadership role within the force, guiding new recruits who look up to him as a mentor.
For someone once underestimated, that level of influence feels both rewarding and intimidating. Their job now demands personal sacrifices.
Late-night patrols, dangerous chases, and constant pressure keep them from enjoying normal lives. Judy's family in Bunnyborough misses her presence, especially as her younger siblings look to her as a role model. Nick faces different struggles, reconciling his past mistakes with the admiration he receives today. He worries that the city may revert to judging him by his species again.
The trauma of his childhood doesn't vanish.
It remains a silent antagonist. The sequel may give his character moments of vulnerability, where Judy supports him through old wounds reopening. With growing hostility in certain neighborhoods, Judy and Nick are often the first to arrive at scene after scene where emotions run high. Conflicts between species escalate in seconds, fueled by misunderstandings or deep-rooted stigma. Their duty is no longer simply catching criminals. They must communicate, listen, and bring calm. They must convince frightened citizens that unity is worth fighting for. They must remind everyone that Zootopia is a home for all. The sequel might introduce more advanced policing tools, high-speed pursuit vehicles, futuristic gadgets, and crime-mapping technologies that require training and adaptation. Judy and Nick, being forward-thinking, embrace innovation, but older officers struggle to adjust. This technological gap becomes another hurdle in their department's evolution. And when the city faces new levels of criminal innovation, organized crime, cyber threats, and biological manipulation, Judy and Nick must be 2 steps ahead. New villains could target the ZPD directly, hoping to expose weaknesses and manipulate public fear. Fake news, propaganda campaigns, and deep misinformation spread faster than ever, turning animals against each other. Judy and Nick are forced into psychological warfare, where truth becomes a powerful weapon. Their integrity is tested when accusations rise, and distrust rains down even on those sworn to protect. In these moments, their partnership becomes a shield. When the world doubts them, they place faith in each other. The dynamic between Judy and Nick may also deepen emotionally. While Disney often avoids explicit romantic acknowledgement in early franchise stages, fans sense a growing connection. In Zootopia 2, subtle gestures, concern during danger, quiet conversations after missions, small moments of laughter can show evolution without outright labels. Their duty brings them together in ways both beautiful and heartbreaking. Every mission reminds them that they are stronger together, yet every risk reminds them how devastating it would be to lose one another. Their personal development extends beyond professional identity. Judy learns that perfection isn't her responsibility. Progress is. Nick learns that forgiveness for himself is as important as gaining acceptance from others. Working together, they redefine what it means to be a hero. Not someone flawless, but someone who keeps going despite fear, doubt, and pressure. Children watching will see the importance of teamwork and treating others with understanding. Adults watching will appreciate the commentary on justice, equality, and reform. Zootopia 2 uses Judy and Nick's duty to reflect how leadership must evolve in diverse societies. Their new challenges speak to real-world issues, how communities heal after division, how trust is built after betrayal, and how hope survives under uncertainty. As the film progresses, Judy and Nick become symbols of unity in a fractured world. Their badge doesn't just represent the law, it represents a promise to protect the vulnerable, to confront corruption, to inspire courage, and to prove that change begins with compassion. They show that duty is not about power or authority, it is about responsibility. They earn respect not through force, but through empathy. And that is what makes their journey extraordinary. In Zootopia 2, their new duty is bigger than crime fighting. It is about restoring harmony and teaching future generations to embrace diversity instead of fearing it. The movie celebrates the idea that a rabbit and a fox, 2 natural opposites, can stand side by side as equals. Together, they are the heartbeat of Zootopia. Together, they represent its brightest future. Zootopia has always been a city built on a promise that every animal, no matter their background, size, or species, could find a place where they belong. But in Zootopia 2, that promise begins to crack under the pressure of new and complex challenges. The sequel takes us deeper into the city's evolving social landscape, where the harmony everyone fought for in the first movie is now being tested by tensions that no one saw coming. Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde are no strangers to conflict, but the challenges ahead are unlike anything they have faced before. These obstacles are bigger, more psychological, and more unpredictable, threatening not just safety, but the very belief that unity is still possible. One major challenge Zootopia faces is a growing divide between different species, quietly rising beneath the surface. Although the predator-prey conflict of the first movie was resolved through truth and bravery, the trauma it caused remains fresh in memory. Some animals still fear that predators might become dangerous again. Others believe the prey population holds too much power in politics and law enforcement. These suspicions create small disagreements that eventually fuel community-wide conflicts.
Zootopia becomes a city where smiles are not always sincere, and trust becomes harder to maintain.
Citizens who once stood proudly together now step cautiously, afraid of what the future might bring. Economic disparity is another issue that begins to haunt the city. Not all animals experience prosperity equally. Large predators require more resources, such as food and housing, while smaller prey animals feel overwhelmed by the competition in job markets. This imbalance affects the neighborhoods across Zootopia.
Some districts thrive with business activity, bright billboards, and crowded markets.
Others remain underdeveloped and forgotten.
These neglected zones become breeding grounds for crime, frustration, and rebellion. Judy and Nick discover that enforcing the law is only a temporary solution. The real challenge lies in creating fairness and opportunity for everyone. New forms of crime emerge as well.
More advanced and more dangerous than before. In the first film, the threat was biological. Predators were being turned savage against their will. In the sequel, criminals might not need such a dramatic method to cause chaos.
Cybercrime, organized smuggling, and political manipulation creep into the city.
Technology that once united animals now becomes a tool for misinformation.
Hidden networks spread lies that spark fear and hatred, pushing predators and prey further apart. Judy and Nick must hunt not just criminals on the street, but also invisible enemies who attack through screens and speeches. Territorial disputes become another intense challenge.
The first movie introduced several biomes: Tundra Town, Sahara Square, Rainforest District, and more, each with its own environmental needs. But as the population grows, space becomes limited. Some animals demand expansion, while others refuse to lose land that reflects their identity and culture. Conflicts between species escalate over resources like territory, climate control, and infrastructure development.
Peaceful protests sometimes turn into violent clashes. Judy and Nick must stand between angry crowds, trying to calm emotions before chaos erupts into civil war. A silent conflict also rises inside the hearts of Zootopia's citizens, especially younger generations. They have grown up hearing stories of predator-prey conflict, but have never fully understood why it happened.
Their knowledge comes from rumors, exaggerated news reports, and biased social media posts.
Many adopt extreme opinions without knowing the truth.
Young predators fear they will never be trusted.
Young prey believe they must always protect themselves. This emotional instability among youth becomes a ticking time bomb for the future of Zootopia.
Judy and Nick see hope in their eyes, but also confusion, and they know that the city must guide them before they choose the wrong path. The political tension inside the city government increases too. Leaders who once worked together to rebuild harmony now argue over new strategies, each claiming their plan is best for the animals. Some politicians secretly exploit fear to gain support and rise to power. Others are too afraid to make bold decisions and end up doing nothing.
The Zootopia Police Department finds itself stuck between political pressure and public expectations.
Judy and Nick are ordered to serve justice, but justice itself becomes blurry when different groups define it differently. They must remain true to their principles even when leaders try to use them as tools for influence. Another
major challenge might come in the form of a new villain, or
perhaps multiple villains operating under one mastermind.
This antagonist could be someone who believes the city is beyond saving.
Someone who wants to break society apart completely rather than fight for unity. Their motives may stem from personal loss, hatred toward a species, or a belief that chaos will lead to a stronger world. This villain sees the natural differences between animals not as diversity, but as justification for separation and war.
Judy and Nick must find the courage to confront such darkness, knowing that defeating it requires more than handcuffs. It requires healing hearts. Environmental issues also play a growing role. Climate controls that keep each biome stable begin to malfunction, causing unnatural changes.
Sahara Square gets colder, freezing businesses that rely on heat-based environments. Tundra Town experiences rising temperatures, melting infrastructure designed for snow and ice. Rainforest District faces water scarcity one day and flooding the next. These disruptions create panic among residents and spark blame between species who accuse each other of mismanaging resources.
Judy and Nick must solve mysteries that are more scientific than criminal, working with experts and engineers to restore order. Communication breakdown adds fuel to the fire. When animals stop listening to one another, empathy disappears. Judy and Nick try to act as bridges between communities, but their efforts are constantly challenged by misinformation and radicals who refuse to compromise.
Some animals argue that Zootopia should separate predators and prey again for safety. Others push for complete removal of social boundaries, even when differences require thoughtful accommodation. The city stands on a fragile edge. One wrong decision can lead to a complete collapse of trust. Through all these emerging challenges, the theme remains clear. Zootopia's greatest enemy is division. Not a single species, not a single villain, but the invisible walls animals build around their hearts. Judy and Nick realize that true peace isn't something you achieve once. It is something you must protect forever. Every day brings new challenges, and every challenge requires strength, patience, and understanding. The sequel emphasizes that progress comes with consequences. When a society evolves, conflicts evolve too. Zootopia must learn to adapt, not by ignoring differences, but by embracing them in smarter ways. Judy and Nick fight every day to prove that diversity can be a strength, not a weakness.
They investigate crimes, mediate conflicts, support victims, and hold criminals accountable. But most importantly, they inspire hope. Because hope is what keeps unity alive. In Zootopia 2, new challenges become powerful storytelling tools. They create intense moments of danger, emotional drama, comedic misunderstandings, and uplifting triumphs. They make the movie relatable to real-world struggles, reminding audiences that equality, harmony, and justice require courage from everyone. The city's problems reflect problems we see in our own world, making the film not just entertaining, but meaningful. These challenges drive Judy and Nick forward. They push characters to grow beyond their limits, taking risks that shape their futures. They force Zootopia to confront its weaknesses and rebuild a stronger foundation. And as the city faces its hardest tests yet, audiences are reminded why this story matters. Because unity is always worth fighting for, no matter how difficult the path becomes. Zootopia 2 doesn't just continue the adventure, it deepens it. It shows that dreams can be threatened, but not destroyed.
It proves that people, or animals, who stand together can overcome anything.
And it prepares Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde for a mission bigger than law enforcement. A mission to protect the very soul of Zootopia. Soul of Zootopia.
Every great story becomes unforgettable when a powerful villain rises. Someone whose presence challenges not only the heroes, but the very foundation of the world around them. In Zootopia 2, the main antagonist does not arrive with loud threats or obvious wickedness.
Instead, the villain works from the shadows, where fear grows silently.
This enemy understands that true chaos doesn't begin with violence. It begins with doubt. And that is exactly the weapon being used against Zootopia. While Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde push for unity, this villain pushes for division. And sadly, division spreads faster. The villain's identity remains hidden in the early story, strengthening their influence without being detected.
They manipulate from behind closed doors, presenting themselves as a respectable leader or a victim seeking justice.
That ambiguity makes them dangerous. Anyone can support them, unknowingly empowering destruction. Their philosophy is simple but poisonous. Animals should only trust their own kind. To them, predator-prey coexistence is a failed experiment holding everyone back. They believe nature separated species for a reason, and society's attempt to ignore instincts will eventually collapse. They don't want to wait for collapse. They want to trigger it. This antagonist recruits followers by targeting their insecurities. To predators who feel unfairly judged, the villain promises respect and restored dominance. To prey who feel endangered, the villain offers safety through segregation.
Either side becomes a puppet through carefully designed lies. Even the media isn't safe. Influential voices begin repeating the villain's messages, disguised as facts or concern. Judy and Nick notice shifts in public attitude. Neighbors stop greeting each other. Businesses refuse customers of certain species. And parents warn their kids to avoid animals they once called friends. The villain's strategy is brilliant. They don't create fear. They amplify the fear already hiding in hearts. The antagonist also benefits from advanced technology and elite intelligence networks. They use surveillance and data manipulation to cause conflicts at perfect moments.
A small misunderstanding between species transforms into a viral scandal, sparking overnight riots. Anonymous threats appear, suggesting predators are plotting violent takeovers, or that prey are secretly forming militias. Judy and Nick discover that the villain has access to restricted systems, allowing them to erase their trail after every crime. The ZPD is chasing a ghost, someone always 3 steps ahead. This villain might have a tragic past fueling their goals.
Perhaps they once lost someone they loved due to predator-prey conflict. Instead of healing, they nurtured resentment until it became a mission.
They convinced themselves that creating a divided society is the only way to prevent future suffering. Their twisted sense of justice becomes a cloak for cruelty. They claim to fight for peace while building an army of anger, fear, and revenge. To influence the public further, the villain establishes secret alliances with powerful elites, corrupt business owners, extremist leaders, and wealthy investors who profit from chaos.
These supporters fund illegal operations, smuggling weapons, manufacturing propaganda devices, and hacking infrastructure. Their resources grow beyond the control of the government. Zootopia becomes a pawn in a larger scheme where every conflict serves the villain's ambition. One of the most dangerous tactics this antagonist uses is turning allies into enemies.
They release fabricated evidence showing predators committing crimes they didn't commit, pushing prey to retaliate. They spread rumors that prey are conspiring to eliminate predators from the workforce. Even the ZPD is accused of bias.
Judy and Nick find themselves caught in political traps, forced to defend their integrity while still trying to protect the city.
Enemies multiply because trust disappears. This psychological warfare hits Nick Wilde the hardest. His painful past of being stereotyped as a sly, untrustworthy predator resurfaces. Many are manipulated into believing that a fox in uniform is a threat. Nick holds strong, but deep inside, old wounds begin to reopen.
Judy tries her best to keep him focused, but the villain uses every weakness. Their goal is simple: break the heroes before breaking the city. As tension builds, criminal activity increases.
Coordinated attacks erupt in multiple districts, overwhelming the police force.
Protests shut down public services.
Borders between predator and prey neighborhoods become invisible front lines. Zootopia transforms from a city of dreams into a stage of fear. The villain watches proudly from their hidden fortress, waiting for the perfect moment to strike the final blow, a plan so catastrophic that coexistence may never recover. Judy and Nick begin to uncover clues leading to the villain's
true identity, and it shocks them. The mastermind might be someone once admired,
someone who preached equality but secretly plotted domination, or a figure who was ignored by society until vengeance became their identity. This revelation flips the story upside down. The villain's intelligence, charisma, and strategic brilliance make them a terrifying opponent. Not a monster, but a visionary turned extremist. The final goal of the villain is not only separation, but supremacy. They want one species to rule and the others to obey.
They believe that only through strict hierarchies can society survive. Their vision for the future is a dystopia where instincts determine worth, where freedom is sacrificed for control, and where fear becomes the law. But villains often underestimate one thing: heroes never give up, especially heroes like Judy and Nick. As the city moves closer to collapse, our heroes gather information, building a case strong enough to expose the villain publicly. They must fight not just physically, but intellectually and emotionally. They need allies, even those who dislike them, because unity is the only weapon powerful enough to defeat division. The villain's presence raises the stakes of Zootopia 2 to entirely new heights. The conflict becomes global within the animal world. What happens in Zootopia could influence other cities. If the villain wins, the dream of coexistence everywhere may die forever. This antagonist embodies everything the film stands against.
Fear over love, division over unity, instinct over choice, control over freedom, and that makes their downfall the heart of the sequel's greatest fight. Zootopia 2 uses this villain to deliver a strong message that the
greatest threat to society is not the one we can see on the outside, but the one we allow to grow on the inside.
Hatred is invisible until it is too late, and heroes are defined not by how strong they are, but by how bravely they confront hate with hope. They confront hate with hope.
After the events of the first film, Zootopia had become a city that was celebrated all around the world for its diversity and unity. Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde proved that predators and prey could live together without fear or discrimination. But as Zootopia 2 begins, we quickly realize that not everything has remained perfect. A peaceful society can slowly develop hidden cracks, and new conflicts begin to rise where no one expected them. One of the biggest themes in Zootopia 2 is the pressure of progress. As the city grows bigger and more advanced, species from faraway regions are migrating into Zootopia. The old residents feel like their identity, territory, and jobs might be at risk. The new arrivals struggle to find acceptance. In this way, the film introduces a more complex form of discrimination that isn't just about predator versus prey. Now it's about locals versus outsiders. This creates tension in the neighborhoods and workplaces of the city. Another major challenge comes in the form of unemployment and financial insecurity. Zootopia's economy was designed around a balance of species with different abilities. Huge animals like elephants took on heavy-duty jobs, while smaller animals had micro-level roles. But with new automations, advanced tech, and robots entering the city, animals worry they might lose their purpose. Just like in our real world, technology brings comfort, but also fear. Zootopia 2 explores this realistically through characters who question their future and worth. Meanwhile, Judy and Nick face a massive responsibility as full-time detectives. They are no longer rookies. The whole city looks up to them. Every mistake matters. An increase in political tensions and crime puts strong pressure on them both emotionally and physically. Judy tries to remain hopeful, but she starts to feel the weight of being the symbol of justice. Nick, who once joked his way through everything, now struggles with the fear of disappointing Judy. Or worse, becoming the reason the city falls apart. Adding to the complexity, a new villain begins working behind the scenes. This figure doesn't rely on brute force or chemicals like Bellwether did. Instead, they use information manipulation. Through social media, fake news, and tech sabotage, this villain tries to break the trust that holds Zootopia together. The worst danger is not an attack on the streets. It's the growing suspicion in everyone's hearts as Zootopia expands. Its government faces growing pressure to maintain order, while also managing the needs of its diverse population. The mayor's office becomes a battlefield of ideas. How to keep peace, how to give equal opportunities, and how to deal with rising anxiety among citizens. Different communities begin demanding special protections, leading to political division that threatens to shake the foundation of unity. Judy and Nick fought so hard, for some neighborhoods become dominated by a single species, like massive polar bears or tiny rodents, leading to segregation. Walls don't appear physically, but mentally animals begin separating themselves. Judgments return. Predators are dangerous. Prey are too sensitive. Outsiders don't belong here. These subtle comments slowly transform into public protests and violent confrontations. Zootopia 2 depicts how fear spreads faster than truth, especially when an unknown villain manipulates public opinion behind the scenes. That villain's goal is simple: break the trust among the citizens so they never stand united again. Judy Hopps becomes the symbol of hope, but leadership is not easy. She realizes that enforcing law doesn't just require strength, it requires empathy, patience, and the ability to guide others towards understanding. Nick Wilde, meanwhile, represents the voice of those who feel like they never truly fitted into the system. His past as a hustler makes him suspicious of authority, giving him a unique perspective on corruption and hidden agendas. Their partnership becomes more important than ever as they work to extract the truth from chaos. But while Judy wants to solve every problem through justice and order, Nick understands that sometimes rules alone can't fix society. Hearts must change too. To intensify the story, multiple mysterious criminal incidents begin happening simultaneously. Power grids randomly failing public facilities get hacked. Rumors of a secret predator uprising spread. Some species go missing without a trace. Each incident increases fear. Rather than trying to unite, the city leaders start assigning blame. Political figures start pointing fingers at predators again, forgetting the lessons learned in the first film. This sets up a powerful narrative. The greatest enemy is not a predator or prey. It's division. Even Judy and Nick feel pressure on their friendship as strategies clash and stress rises. The question becomes, can they remain united while the whole city falls apart? Zootopia always prided itself on being a city where every animal could pursue their dreams.
But with time, the city embraced advanced technologies, security drones, automated transport, digital ID systems, and online social platforms designed to keep everyone connected.
What citizens didn't realize is that the same tools that made life easier could also become weapons in the wrong hands. In Zootopia 2, the villain uses cyber attacks as their primary strategy.
Street crimes and physical violence are minimal at first. Instead, chaos is spread through screens and signals. Citywide communication glitches create panic.
Social media platforms are hacked to spread misinformation. Fake news about predator plots and prey conspiracies begin trending at lightning speed.
As fear rises, logic disappears. The police must think differently now. Judy and Nick can't just chase criminals through alleyways. They must understand new systems and work with tech experts.
Meanwhile, citizens lose faith in the authorities because security systems they relied on no longer feel safe.
When the truth becomes uncertain, everyone becomes a suspect. This introduces a new kind of challenge. How do you protect a city when the threat is invisible?
Small businesses start shutting down due to digital fraud.
Hospitals struggle when systems are compromised. Even traffic lights malfunction, leading to dangerous accidents.
Judy understands that these attacks are not random. Someone wants to make everyone believe the city's progress is destroying itself.
It's a plan designed to make the citizens turn against technology and against each other. Nick, with his old hustler instincts, senses the deeper plan. Someone is using chaos to gain influence.
To rise as a leader who claims they can fix everything. It's fear-based manipulation.
Similar to what con artists use, just on a massive scale. As pressure builds,
Judy begins having sleepless nights, believing she must stop every attack to keep the city safe.
her perfectionism becomes her own enemy. Nick tries to calm her down, reminding her that a good officer must trust her team, not take every burden alone. Their emotional conflict reveals how stress can damage even the strongest bonds. The tension reaches a new height when a major security system controlling citywide predator tracking goes offline. With a single hack, predators are once again treated with suspicion, pushed into quarantine zones for safety. The villain doesn't need weapons, just fear. This moment becomes a turning point. Judy and Nick realize that restoring safety isn't enough. They must restore trust. Only then can Zootopia survive the challenges of a rapidly changing world. While Zootopia faces a wave of cybercrimes and social division, the emotional pressure on Judy and Nick becomes more intense than ever before. In the first film, both characters were discovering who they were.
But now, they are expected to be perfect role models. The heroes who must always have the answers.
That expectation becomes exhausting. Judy Hopps, who once defied stereotypes to become the first bunny cop, now fears making even the slightest mistake. Every news channel, every citizen, every kid who looks up to her, she feels responsible for them all. When the city begins to break apart again, Judy convinces herself that she failed to protect the harmony she helped build. She carries an unhealthy burden. If Zootopia falls apart, it will be my fault. Nick Wilde, on the other hand, deals with struggles rooted in his past.
He's officially a cop now, respected, trusted and celebrated. But deep inside, he still hears the hurtful words from his childhood. Predators can't be trusted. You're just a shifty fox. Cyber propaganda reignites those wounds.
Even though Judy supports him completely, Nick fears one day the city, or worse, Judy herself, might see him the same way his bullies did. This creates self-doubt that quietly eats away at his confidence. The film cleverly uses their partnership to show how hope and insecurity can coexist within the same hero. Judy pushes herself too hard, while Nick quietly pulls himself away. They both want to save Zootopia.
But they are struggling to save themselves first. Their
friendship is tested when Judy agrees with a temporary restriction targeting predators
for public safety. Nick sees it as a betrayal.
A repeat of old history where predators suffer because of unexplained fear. Even though Judy hates the decision, pressure from her superiors traps her, making her feel like she is choosing the city over her best friend. The emotional peak comes when the city starts demanding surveillance of predators again.
Judy can't allow injustice, and Nick refuses to let fear divide them. This becomes a personal wake-up call. If they let fear separate them, the villain wins without even showing up. Zootopia 2 highlights that even the bravest heroes can face mental exhaustion. Real courage isn't just about solving crimes. It's about believing in yourself and those you trust. Believing in yourself and those you trust. Zootopia has always been known for its unique districts. Tundra Town, Savannah Central, Little Rodentia, Sahara Square, each specially designed to support different climates and animal sizes.
In Zootopia 2, the city expands even further, introducing 3 new districts that highlight new species and new conflicts. Marine Metropolis A, massive underwater district built for dolphins, seals, turtles, and other marine animals. Transparent tunnels connect land and water zones, allowing seamless travel between them. While the district looks like a futuristic paradise, problems brew beneath the surface. Marine animals feel like they are watched and controlled by security cameras everywhere, sparking privacy concerns and rebellion against authority. Sky Heights A, towering vertical city designed for birds and flying mammals. It includes wind highways, aerial police drones, and cloud stations.
But the issue is serious. These animals believe they deserve higher status because they literally live above everyone.
Their elitist attitude introduces a new kind of discrimination based on where an animal comes from, not what they are. Underground burrow network, labyrinth for moles, rabbits, and other tunnel dwellers. Although Judy's relatives live here, even she is surprised to learn how isolated and ignored this entire underground society has been. When new policies begin favoring giant predators and tech-savvy species, burrow animals feel forgotten and show signs of rebellion. These new districts show that even progress can create new inequalities. As Nick and Judy investigate cyber attacks, they discover that each district has a different theory about who is behind the chaos. Marine animals blame land predators. Sky Heights residents blame underground species.
Burrow dwellers claim outsiders are responsible.
Political leaders silently encourage this division to protect their own power. This escalating mistrust turns every district into a potential war zone. The film smartly reflects
Modern world issues like nationalism, class elitism,
and social polarization, but in a way that fans of all ages can understand. It teaches that the real danger isn't from any species. It's from thinking your kind is better than others. Judy and Nick must explore these districts to gather clues, but each visit introduces cultural misunderstandings and conflict. They slowly discover that all these crises are being controlled by the same mastermind, someone who knows that to break Zootopia,
all you need to do is convince its citizens that they can't coexist. As Judy and Nick connect all the clues from the new districts, cyber attacks, disappearing animals, and rising inequality, a shocking truth emerges. All of this chaos is not happening by accident. Someone is pulling every string. This mysterious villain doesn't want money.
They don't want the city destroyed physically.
They want the idea of unity destroyed. Why?
Because a divided Zootopia is easier to control. This enemy is an expert manipulator, disguising themselves as a political activist who claims to protect society. They spread rumors, pit species against each other, and position themselves as the only voice of truth. Their strategy is brilliant. Create fear, offer protection, gain power through chaos, turn citizens into followers. This mastermind represents a chilling message. The worst villains don't attack the body, they attack the mind. For Judy and Nick, defeating such an enemy requires more than arrests and badges. They must do what seems impossible. Make everyone believe in hope again. Restore trust between communities. Unmask the villain's lies publicly. The film sets up a massive confrontation in the heart of Zootopia, where the entire city watches. Judy delivers a powerful message about bravery and equality, but Nick plays the critical role, exposing how the villain used fear to manipulate citizens. Nick reveals that real predators are not those with claws, but those who prey on insecurities. The citizens finally see the truth. The mastermind loses their influence instantly, because when a community chooses unity, fear loses its power. By the end of this intense arc, Judy and Nick overcome near impossible odds. Their friendship becomes stronger than ever, sending a clear message that Zootopia's greatest strength is its differences, not its similarities. Zootopia 2 brings a completely different style of villain compared to the first movie. Bellwether used fear and hidden aggression to try to control the city, but this new antagonist is far more dangerous because they operate silently behind the scenes. They don't rely on physical force. They rely on intelligence, influence, and technology. This villain understands one powerful truth. If you can control what people believe, you can control everything. This character is highly sophisticated and deeply calculating. A predator not of flesh, but of minds. Their primary weapon is information manipulation.
The villain spreads false news, creates digital fear, and hacks into systems to cause chaos in the city.
They want citizens to lose trust in each other, in technology, and especially in the police. While Bellwether hated predators, this villain doesn't hate one group. They hate unity itself.
They believe that Zootopia's idea of anyone can be anything is a fake promise.
In their eyes, harmony is nothing but a fragile illusion waiting to be shattered. And they take it upon themselves to prove it to everyone. They are always 5 steps ahead.
They never appear at crime scenes.
They sit in shadows while the whole city battles itself. What makes this villain especially terrifying is that they are incredibly charming publicly, a figure respected by many, possibly even connected to the government itself. The city sees them as a hero, not a criminal.
That means Judy and Nick cannot simply arrest them. They must expose the truth without turning the entire city against them. The villain's identity is hidden from viewers for most of the film.
We only see traces, a mysterious symbol appearing on hacked screens, anonymous speeches spreading fear, secret messages turning predators and prey against each other. Each clue raises new questions instead of answers,
which makes the story more thrilling and unpredictable. Most importantly, this villain has a personal connection to one of the main characters, something that will later explode the emotional stakes in the film.
Their motivations are rooted in past trauma,
twisting their belief that Zootopia's progress is destroying the natural order of life. The audience slowly learns that this isn't just a bad guy. They are a visionary gone wrong,
convinced that the city must break before it can be rebuilt in their image. As the plot progresses,
the villain's identity comes into sharper focus. The story suggests that this isn't a random criminal. This is someone who has been watching Zootopia evolve for years.
They are highly educated, skilled in digital systems, and familiar with the vulnerabilities of every district.
Their ability to strike exactly where fear is strongest raises a dangerous possibility.
The villain might be an insider, someone who once believed in Zootopia's dream, but now sees it as a lie. Flashbacks begin to reveal their childhood. A life filled with broken trust and broken expectations. When they were young, they believed they could succeed in Zootopia. They studied technology to improve the city, and once worked closely with law enforcement to strengthen security.
But society did not treat them the way they expected.
Every attempt they made to bring progress was shut down by corrupt officials or biased decisions. Their biggest heartbreak was watching predators and prey turn on each other during the first film's crisis.
It triggered a belief deep within them. No matter how much Zootopia advances, differences will always divide us. That moment planted the seed of a new ideology, an ideology of control through exposure. To them, unity is nothing more than a temporary mask.
They believe the only way to fix the city is to destroy its illusions. That's why they focus on creating distrust. If Zootopia's unity collapses, their prophecy becomes self-evident. This villain becomes emotionally layered. The audience sees that they aren't just evil. They are a product of broken hope. They wanted to change the world, but when the world refused to change, they decided to break it. Instead, the most shocking twist is when Judy discovers that this villain once
applied to join the Zootopia Police Department
and was rejected with the same reasoning Judy fought against for years.
You're not fit for this position due to your kind. This rejection left a permanent scar.
The villain's brilliance was ignored because of stereotypes. The same stereotypes Judy once tried to overcome. This creates a sharp emotional connection between Judy and the antagonist. She sees in them a painful reflection of what she could have become if her journey ended differently. As the villain grows more powerful,
they weaponize the very systems they once hoped would protect Zootopia, turning dreams into destruction. Their ultimate goal becomes clear: break the city's trust, rise as its savior, rebuild it under their control. This is a villain who doesn't want chaos for fun. They want to rewrite society. Rewrite society.
In Zootopia 2, character development stands at the heart of the new story. deepening the emotional journey of both returning heroes and newly introduced figures. Judy Hopps, once the fresh recruit with dreams larger than life, now carries the weight of experience and expectations. She has proven herself as a capable officer, even a hero, but with heroism comes new pressure.
Judy realizes that solving crimes is no longer enough. She has to lead, decide wisely, and take responsibility for the consequences of her actions.
Throughout the sequel, she will struggle with understanding the difference between boldness and recklessness, especially when her choices affect others who trust her.
This growth arc shapes her into a more mature protector of Zootopia, someone who can balance courage with wisdom.
Her optimistic spirit remains, but she learns that justice is not always straightforward. Sometimes doing the right thing means accepting that not everyone will admire or support the decision in the moment. This deeper and more personal emotional struggle gives Judy a powerful internal conflict, making her character even more relatable and inspirational to the audience. Nick Wilde, meanwhile,
continues his surprising evolution from a sly con artist to a respected police officer. However, his transformation is not yet complete.
Nick still battles the shadow of his past. The stereotypes, the mistrust, the lingering doubts about whether he truly belongs in law enforcement. The sequel explores his vulnerability more openly. Even with the badge on his chest, part of him fears that people will always see him as the fox who once tricked and manipulated.
When the new threat challenges the city and puts distrust between predators and prey once again, Nick finds himself caught in a painful crossroads. He must prove not only to the city, but also to himself that identity is shaped by actions, not history.
His emotional growth focuses on self-acceptance and the confidence to stand proudly beside Judy as an equal partner, not just a sidekick or someone granted authority temporarily. His humor and charm remain powerful parts of his personality, but his deeper core is tested like never before,
revealing a courageous heart underneath the jokes. The partnership between Judy and Nick also evolves dramatically.
In the first film, they built trust from scratch, moving from suspicion to respect to powerful friendship. Now, the sequel explores the possibility of new layers to their bond. Whether or not it leans into romantic development, their connection becomes more complex and emotionally rich.
They rely on each other for strength during moments of fear and doubt. Judy sometimes pushes too hard, driven by her desire to protect everyone, while Nick helps her breathe and see things from a calmer perspective.
And when Nick feels judged or cornered, Judy reminds him of his bravery and moral growth. The theme becomes clear. They are stronger together, not because they are perfect, but because they fill the gaps in each other.
This supportive but occasionally
challenging partnership deepens the emotional resonance of the story. Mayor Lionheart also plays an important role in the emotional landscape of Zootopia 2. His past mistakes haunt him, and redemption is not easily earned. He struggles to regain the trust of the citizens, to redefine leadership in a city that is still healing from fear and division. Watching him work to rebuild, while knowing many still resent him, adds a layer of moral complexity to the narrative. His journey reflects that change is possible but not guaranteed. A person must continually prove they deserve forgiveness and respect.
His newfound humility creates opportunities for fascinating character interactions, especially with Judy,
who must decide whether someone once responsible for harm deserves a second chance. One of the most compelling emotional arcs is expected to come from new characters.
Perhaps a young predator or prey caught in the new wave of fear and discrimination becomes a central figure in the plot.
This character's story could mirror Judy and Nick's personal struggles, but in a new generation. Someone who wants to belong, but faces social obstacles stronger than their voice.
Judy sees a reflection of her younger self in them, ambitious, hopeful, and wanting to prove the world wrong. Nick sees a reminder of how harmful prejudice can be, and he becomes a mentor who offers wisdom from his own painful experiences.
Their involvement in the central mystery adds emotional stakes that go beyond solving a crime. It becomes a fight to protect innocence, potential, and the future values of Zootopia. Chief Bogo also receives deeper exploration in the sequel.
Tough and strict on the outside, Bogo begins to show a more vulnerable side as he balances the morale of the police force with the growing political pressure from city leaders.
His relationship with Judy and Nick shifts as he learns to trust them as essential voices, rather than just rule breakers with good intentions.
Bogo's journey emphasizes that leaders must grow too. Authority does not make someone infallible.
He learns to adapt to change, listen to others, and support unconventional methods when they lead to justice. His character growth reinforces the message that progress requires both strength and openness. Clawhouse's role, often comedic and lighthearted, also gains emotional depth.
His love for celebrities and upbeat attitude are still present, but the story shows moments where his friendly nature is misunderstood or undervalued.
When tension rises in the city, characters like Clawhauser, who bridge gaps between different groups, become crucial in healing fear and restoring unity. His journey teaches that kindness is not weakness. It is a powerful force in maintaining hope when the world seems divided. Bellwether, if she returns, will embody the darker side of emotional evolution. Her motivations, rooted in long-standing frustration and a sense of injustice, remind audiences that hurt can lead to harmful choices. If she remains part of the conflict, her story highlights what happens when resentment is left unresolved. Her presence challenges Judy and Nick to confront the complexity of social issues. Fixing the surface does not erase years of pain.
Villains, too, are shaped by experiences that molded them, and understanding that complexity adds emotional richness to the narrative. Overall,
Zootopia 2 deepens every character's journey by placing them in a world that is still learning, still healing, and still changing. The sequel reminds us that growth does not end with victory. People fall, question themselves, and seek strength from others.
The film uses humor, action, and heartfelt moments to explore how friendships evolve, how forgiveness is earned, and how progress requires continuous effort.
The emotional core of Zootopia 2 is a powerful message. Real unity demands courage from every individual. Predators, prey, leaders, and ordinary citizens alike.
Character development in the sequel transforms familiar faces into layered, dynamic figures whose challenges reflect real struggles faced in society today. These emotional journeys ensure that Zootopia 2 does not simply repeat the magic of the first film, but expands it into a richer,
more thoughtful story that inspires audiences to believe that growth,
understanding, and compassion can reshape the world for the better. Reshape the world for the better.
In Zootopia 2, the new threat that emerges is not just a physical danger, but a deeper challenge that strikes the very foundation of the city's unity.
After years of peace following the events of the first movie,
the city begins to experience subtle shifts, unexplained behavior changes, mysterious disappearances, and rising tension between predators and prey once again. At first, the citizens dismiss these incidents as isolated issues, but as patterns form, the police department realizes that something darker is manipulating the harmony they worked so hard to build. The sequel introduces a cunning new antagonist, someone who understands the flaws and fears hidden in society and knows exactly how to exploit them.
This villain doesn't need brute strength to create chaos, just the right push to turn people against each other.
That psychological approach makes the threat far more dangerous, as mistrust spreads silently like a virus, weakening Zootopia from the inside. Judy and Nick quickly become aware that this problem isn't just about solving a crime. It's about protecting the city's belief in coexistence.
The new enemy uses misinformation, rumors, and subtle sabotage to reignite the old fear that predators are dangerous.
The citizens who once stood united begin to doubt each other again. Zootopia's vulnerable peace cracks, and the police force faces overwhelming pressure as panic sweeps across neighborhoods.
Judy, who always believed that anyone can be anything, is devastated to see progress slipping away.
Nick, who once suffered from prejudice himself, feels the emotional weight of seeing history repeat.
This makes their mission not just professional, but deeply personal. The threat becomes even more alarming when Judy
and Nick discover that the antagonist has developed a plan far more
calculated than Bellwether's previous scheme.
Instead of forcing predators to appear dangerous, this time the villain plans to manipulate both sides, predators and prey, making each group perceive the other as a growing danger.
By controlling fear and shaping perception, the villain creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Scared individuals act irrationally, forcing the other side to react defensively. The city becomes a pressure cooker ready to explode.
The stakes rise even higher as the police realize that if this conflict continues, Zootopia could be torn apart permanently,
making coexistence impossible. This storyline allows the film to explore social themes that reflect real-world challenges. Fear is a powerful tool, and when used in the wrong hands, it can transform peaceful communities into hostile battlegrounds.
The new villain embodies manipulation rather than pure aggression, a reminder that some threats do not roar loudly, They whisper quietly and let others do their dirty work.
As evidence grows, Judy and Nick uncover clues that reveal a network of accomplices, individuals within the city who feel unheard or resentful, now turning against the system.
These characters show that villains are sometimes created by neglect and frustration rather than evil intentions from the start. The threat also expands beyond the city limits. Outlying districts, including tundra, rainforest, desert, and smaller boroughs, begin to feel the disturbance. Trade disruptions, fear of traveling, and increased surveillance cause unease everywhere.
The diversity that once made Zootopia special now becomes a vulnerability that the antagonist exploits while staying hidden.
The landscape of the city transforms. Streets that used to be buzzing with life now show signs of emptiness. Small businesses shut early, and police presence increases sharply.
The tension is visible in every corner, making the danger feel real and imminent. Despite the fear spreading quickly, Judy and Nick remain determined.
They begin investigating deeper, analyzing every clue with the help of trusted allies. But the enemy always seems one step ahead, planting misinformation, forging evidence, and tricking people into turning on the police themselves. Citizens begin accusing the police force of failing them, and some even suspect corruption within law enforcement.
Judy is forced to question her own leadership and decisions, while Nick faces skepticism about his loyalty because of his predator identity.
These pressures push them to the brink, testing their resilience and trust in one another. As the threat escalates,
Judy and Nick realize that the villain is not driven by personal gain alone. They possess a twisted ideology, believing that true peace can never exist and that Zootopia's dream of unity is nothing but a lie.
They want to expose what they believe is the truth of division by forcing society to collapse under its own fears. This ideological villainy introduces a strong psychological element to the film, making the conflict more intense and emotionally gripping.
The antagonist's convictions make them unpredictable,
dangerous, and disturbingly convincing. To those already living with doubt, the turning point arrives when Judy and Nick discover a shocking connection. The plan is not newly conceived, but rooted in unresolved tension left behind after Bellwether's exposure. Instead of fully healing the divisions from the first film, society merely ignored them, allowing resentment to grow in the shadows.
This reveals a hard truth. Progress requires sustained effort, and ignoring underlying issues only gives them room to return stronger. Recognizing this motivates Judy and Nick to approach the crisis differently, not just solving a case, but addressing the emotional wounds of the city. Ultimately, the new threat in Zootopia 2 pushes the story into a suspenseful and emotionally rich direction.
The villains challenge the heroes not just physically, but philosophically. Judy and Nick must protect not only the citizens' safety, but also their belief in each other. The outcome will depend on whether unity can survive under pressure, or whether fear will break the city permanently. This conflict sets the stage for thrilling action, heartfelt moments, and a powerful message about the importance of trust. The threat may be rising, but with determination, empathy, and courage, Judy and Nick refuse to let Zootopia fall apart. In Zootopia 2, the partnership between Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde becomes the emotional backbone of the story, and the sequel shows just how deeply their bond has grown since the events of the first film. They are no longer simply colleagues who overcame differences. They are partners who rely on each other completely in every situation.
With the rise of a new threat endangering the peace of the city, they find themselves pushed to new limits physically, emotionally, and morally.
What makes their relationship compelling is that they face struggles that test not only their courage, but also their trust in one another. They learn that partnership isn't just about solving cases together. It's about supporting each other through doubt, fear, and failure. Judy still embodies hope and determination, striving to protect Zootopia no matter the challenge.
However, she sometimes drives herself too hard, believing she must fix every problem alone.
Nick becomes the grounding force in her life, reminding her that she doesn't need to carry the weight of the world by herself.
His calm, clever nature balances her intensity, bringing a lighter perspective when things feel dark.
When Judy pushes past her limits, Nick steps in to help her breathe and find clarity.
Their dynamic often shows that strength comes in different forms. Judy's strength is her unstoppable drive, while Nick's is his resilience and ability to adapt. On the other hand,
Nick faces insecurity about whether he truly belongs in the police force.
Even though he has proven himself countless times, a part of him still struggles with the idea that some predators might always face suspicion no matter their achievements.
Judy becomes his biggest supporter, reminding him that he earned his place through bravery, integrity, and growth. Her belief in Nick gives him confidence to step up and take more leadership in the investigation. Their trust in each other becomes stronger each time one of them falters, and the other reaches out a hand. The audience sees that their partnership is built not on perfection, but on acceptance and teamwork. Their bond is tested when the tension in the city begins targeting their differences. One is prey, the other a predator. Old fears resurface among citizens, and some begin to question whether such a partnership can truly work during troubled times. Instead of letting these doubts divide them, Judy and Nick stand together even stronger. They understand that their friendship represents the very vision Zootopia was built upon: unity through mutual respect. When others look at them and see an unlikely pairing, they show what is possible when two individuals choose trust over fear. The sequel also highlights lighter moments that show how comfortable they have become with each other.
Their playful teasing, shared jokes, and friendly arguments add warmth and humor to the story, making their relationship feel natural and real.
These scenes remind the audience that even in tough times, genuine friendship can create joy and hope.
Their connection deepens not through big dramatic gestures,
but through small moments of loyalty that show they care more than they say out loud. As the villain's plan grows more dangerous, Judy and Nick begin facing decisions where they must put not only their lives, but their values on the line. They learn to open up about fears they once hid. Judy admits that she worries about losing Nick as a partner, while Nick confesses that he fears he may someday disappoint her, or fall back into past habits. These honest conversations strengthen their emotional bond.
Instead of letting fear weaken them, they use vulnerability as a source of courage. The final growth in their partnership comes when they learn that solving the case requires teamwork beyond just the two of them. Judy and Nick inspire others in the police force to trust again and work together despite rising anxiety. They lead by example, demonstrating that unity begins with individuals willing to bridge differences. By the end of the film, their partnership symbolizes the spirit of Zootopia itself, proving that friendship built on loyalty and understanding can overcome any challenge. Judy and Nick are more than partners. They have become each other's greatest strength. Zootopia 2 explores how a society that once celebrated unity can still face deep challenges beneath the surface.
After the first movie's resolution, the city made tremendous progress toward equality between predators and prey.
Businesses reopened, friendships formed across species, and trust was slowly rebuilt.
But true social change is never instant or permanent. It requires time, patience, and continuous effort. The sequel reveals that not everything healed as completely as people hoped. There are still hidden tensions, old prejudices, and groups who feel ignored or misunderstood.
These unresolved issues become the weak spots that the new villain exploits,
proving that peace can be fragile when the roots of conflict are still alive. Citizens begin noticing subtle changes around them: increased fear, a rise in arguments, and a sudden lack of cooperation between communities.
Some believe that predators remain dangerous, while others think prey are trying to control everything.
This division reveals how quickly society can retreat into fear when trust is shaken. Zootopia has always been a symbol of diversity, yet that same diversity becomes a source of vulnerability when manipulated by those who want chaos. The film emphasizes a powerful truth: unity is not a guarantee, it must be actively protected. The government of Zootopia also faces new pressures. Mayor Lionheart, still working to restore his reputation, pushes for initiatives aimed at rebuilding trust. But not all citizens are willing to forgive or forget. Disagreements on how to maintain peace begin to surface. Stricter laws, more surveillance, increased separation between predator and prey in public spaces. These debates trigger a moral conflict in the city. Do they sacrifice freedom for a feeling of safety? The sequel smartly reflects real-world struggles where fear influences political decisions and risks harming the very equality that society fought to achieve. Businesses and neighborhoods also feel the shift. Predator-owned shops experience sudden declines in customers, and prey families become nervous sending their children into mixed environments. Public spaces that once served as symbols of unity start to display invisible lines between species. Even casual conversations turn cautious, as people wonder whether their neighbors are still trustworthy. The city that once thrived on openness now begins to close its doors and hearts.
This social transformation adds a deeper emotional weight to the film, showing that progress can reverse without vigilance and compassion. Education becomes another key point of tension.
Schools that encouraged cross-species friendship now struggle with conflict and mistrust among young students.
Judy and Nick meet kids who are confused and scared, learning fear instead of acceptance, which breaks their hearts.
They realize that if this situation continues, future generations will grow up divided, and Zootopia's dream of unity may disappear entirely.
This narrative thread emphasizes that maintaining harmony requires teaching empathy early and consistently. The media plays a critical role in shaping public perception.
Some outlets try to promote peace, but others add fuel to the fire by spreading sensational stories or biased rumors.
Citizens start reacting emotionally rather than thinking logically. The film shows how quickly misinformation can spread when fear is involved, turning small incidents into citywide panic.
By highlighting this, Zootopia 2 sends a message that the truth must be protected just as much as physical safety, because lies can destroy communities from the inside. Despite all the struggles, the movie does not lose hope. Many characters still fight for unity. Community leaders, teachers, officers, and ordinary citizens who refuse to let fear take over. Judy and Nick become symbols of resilience, inspiring others to believe in the possibility of harmony. Their dedication helps people remember that Zootopia became great not just because different animals lived together, but because they chose to trust each other even when it was difficult. In the end, the evolution of Zootopia society shows that progress is not a straight path. There will always be setbacks and challenges, but what matters is how the community responds. The sequel highlights that real equality and peace require constant work, listening, and understanding.
Zootopia 2 delivers a strong message. Unity is worth fighting for, and when society stands together, no threat is strong enough to tear it apart. One of the most impressive qualities of Zootopia 2 is how it blends serious social themes with humor, warmth, and emotional charm, just like the first movie did so successfully. Even though the sequel addresses deeper fears and conflicts within society, it never loses the light-hearted spirit that made audiences fall in love with Zootopia in the first place. Comedy and heartfelt moments become essential tools that help the characters and the audience cope with the tension rising in the city. These fun moments also remind us that despite problems, there is always room for laughter, kindness, and hope. Judy and Nick's playful dynamic continues to deliver classic entertainment. Their banter, humorous misunderstandings, and different approaches to solving problems create natural comedy throughout the story. Judy's energetic personality often clashes with Nick's laid-back attitude, leading to funny situations where enthusiasm meets sarcasm.
Whether they are undercover on a mission or simply grabbing a donut before work, their chemistry keeps the audience smiling. Nick, especially, uses humor as a way to deal with stress, cracking jokes even when danger is near. His wit isn't just funny.
It shows he refuses to let fear control his outlook on life. Supporting characters like Clawhauser also bring a vibrant comedic presence.
His excitement for celebrities like Gazelle continues, and his friendly, bubbly nature provides relief during dark moments. Scenes featuring him, whether struggling with a new fitness order from Chief Bogo or fangirling over a surprise celebrity visit, help keep the movie joyful and relatable. Bogo's tough but unintentionally funny reactions to chaos around him add another comedic layer, especially when he tries to maintain professional seriousness while everything goes wild. But Zootopia 2 doesn't rely on comedy alone. It also delivers emotional heart that strengthens. The overall impact of the story, moments of vulnerability between characters reveal their fears, hopes, and dreams.
Judy expresses how deeply she cares for the city and how painful it is to see it divided again.
Nick opens up about insecurities that still haunt him.
Even side characters get scenes that show their struggles, helping the audience connect with their experiences on a personal level. Family relationships may also appear in the sequel, adding more emotional depth. Judy's supportive but sometimes worried parents could return, reminding her that even heroes need love and grounding. Nick might explore his past friendships or meet individuals who once doubted him, demonstrating how far he has come.
These heartfelt moments make the theme of growth feel genuine and earned. New characters also bring fresh humor and emotion into the film.
A quirky young recruit on the police force, a nervous yet brilliant scientist, or a hilarious but misunderstood citizen, all have the potential to add fun energy while helping the plot progress.
The combination of unique personalities ensures that the audience experiences both laughter and empathy throughout the story. Visual humor plays a big role as well.
Zootopia's clever use of animal traits, like sloths working at the DMV, returns with new creative ideas. The sequel might show fast-talking turtles working in call centers, overly dramatic peacocks in the media industry, or tiny hamsters operating huge construction equipment.
The animation team has endless opportunities to turn animal behavior into comedic gold. Meanwhile, action scenes can include playful moments, like
Judy dodging danger with exaggerated rabbit reflexes while
Nick tries to look cool but ends up stumbling. The emotional heart of the film becomes most powerful during moments of unity, when different animals support each other despite fear.
Small gestures, like a predator helping a prey stranger, or a community standing together against hate, bring warmth that touches the audience. These scenes highlight the core message: kindness matters, even in the hardest times. By balancing tension with humor and emotion, Zootopia 2 ensures its story remains enjoyable for all ages.
Children laugh at the funny characters, adults appreciate the thoughtful metaphors, and everyone feels motivated by the positive spirit the movie celebrates. The sequel promises to be a roller coaster of emotions, thrilling, funny, touching, and inspiring all at once. This balance keeps Zootopia's world alive as a place where challenges exist, but love, laughter, and hope always find a way to shine through. Zootopia 2 introduces a range of new characters who bring fresh perspectives, new conflicts, and emotional weight to the storyline.
These additions help expand the world beyond what audiences already know, making Zootopia feel even more diverse and alive.
Each new character plays a meaningful role, serving a purpose that strengthens both the narrative and the central theme of unity. One of the most significant new characters could be a skilled technician or data analyst, a sharp, intelligent predator who once believed in Zootopia's dream but now feels betrayed by the system. This character becomes a moral gray area, portraying how someone can drift from hope into resentment when they feel unseen or unappreciated. Their internal struggle makes the story more compelling, as they may be torn between helping Judy and Nick or falling into the influence of the antagonist. Their journey explores the theme that people do not become villains overnight.
Pain and disappointment can push anyone in the
wrong direction if they do not have support. Another important addition might be a young police officer, fresh out of training, who idolizes Judy and Nick. This enthusiastic recruit represents the future of Zootopia, hopeful but inexperienced. Their eager personality adds liveliness to intense moments, while their mistakes provide lessons for the team. Their character reminds the audience that progress comes from preparing the next generation to carry forward the values of fairness and unity. The sequel could also introduce a community leader from one of the outer districts, perhaps a strong-willed predator or prey who speaks out for their community's needs. They may not trust the city government or the police, believing they are ignored or treated unfairly. This character's perspective highlights real frustration citizens feel when they think their voices go unheard. Judy and Nick must earn this leader's trust, providing powerful scenes about building relationships and understanding through
communication rather than authority. A new comedic character
may also play a memorable role, someone with an unusual
job or quirky personality who delivers hilarious lines at the perfect moments.
This character keeps the movie fun, lightening scenes that deal with heavy topics. They may accidentally become involved in the investigation, causing unintentional chaos while still offering helpful insights.
Audiences often fall in love with side characters like this, and they can become game changers in unexpected ways. The antagonist may have loyal supporters, not evil followers,
but individuals who feel neglected, misunderstood, or frustrated with the current system.
These supporting antagonists make the story more realistic, showing how conflict arises not from one villain alone, but from many smaller grievances that go unchecked. Their presence adds emotional complexity. Judy and Nick realize they must understand what drove them to take such a dangerous path.
Instead of simply stopping them, animals from different habitats beyond the city will expand the movie's world. Each character from the desert, Arctic, rainforest, or underwater districts introduces unique customs and lifestyles that reflect the richness of Zootopia. These interactions give the audience a deeper appreciation of the world's cultural diversity and challenges Judy and Nick to think.
Beyond their familiar environment, some new characters will act as bridges between
Communities, teachers, scientists, artists, or small business owners who continue to believe in coexistence even when things get hard. They show that hope doesn't always come from the heroes alone. Sometimes ordinary citizens make the biggest difference by refusing to let fear control their actions. Emotional depth also comes from characters who struggle quietly.
a predator parent who worries about their children's safety at school, or a prey teenager who feels guilty for judging their best predator friend. These subtle character arcs show that prejudice hurts real lives. Including these perspectives makes the story grounded and relatable. Together, these new characters enrich the plot by showing different sides of Zootopia's evolving society.
They bring conflict, humor, inspiration, and heart, all essential for a meaningful sequel. By engaging with these diverse personalities, Judy and Nick realize that their mission is not just about stopping a villain, but helping a city heal. Every character, no matter how big or small their role, contributes to the powerful message. Everyone's story matters in Zootopia. Everyone's story matters in Zootopia.
One of the most impressive qualities of Zootopia 2 is how it blends serious social themes with humor, warmth, and emotional charm, just like the first movie did so successfully.
Even though the sequel addresses deeper fears and conflicts within society, it never loses the light-hearted spirit that made audiences fall in love with Zootopia in the first place. Comedy and heartfelt moments become essential tools that help the characters and the audience cope with the tension rising in the city.
These fun moments also remind us that despite problems, there is always room for laughter, kindness, and hope. Judy and Nick's playful dynamic continues to deliver classic entertainment. Their banter, humorous misunderstandings, and different approaches to solving problems create natural comedy throughout the story.
Judy's energetic personality often clashes with Nick's laid-back attitude, leading to funny situations where enthusiasm meets sarcasm. Whether they are undercover on a mission or simply grabbing a donut before work, their chemistry keeps the audience smiling. Nick, especially, uses humor as a way to deal with stress, cracking jokes even when danger is near.
His wit isn't just funny.
It shows he refuses to let fear control his outlook on life. Supporting characters like Clawhauser also bring a vibrant comedic presence.
His excitement for celebrities like Gazelle continues, and his friendly, bubbly nature provides relief during dark moments.
Scenes featuring him, whether struggling with a new fitness order from Chief Bogo or fangirling over a surprise celebrity visit, help keep the movie joyful and relatable. Bogo's tough, but unintentionally funny reactions to chaos around him add another comedic layer, especially when he tries to maintain professional seriousness while everything goes wild. But Zootopia 2 doesn't rely on comedy alone. It also delivers emotional heart that strengthens the overall impact of the story.
Moments of vulnerability between characters reveal their fears, hopes, and dreams. Judy expresses how deeply she cares for the city and how painful it is to see it divided again.
Nick opens up about insecurities that still haunt him.
Even side characters get scenes that show their struggles, helping the audience connect with their experiences on a personal level. Family relationships may also appear in the sequel, adding more emotional depth. Judy's supportive but sometimes worried parents could return, reminding her that even heroes need love and grounding. Nick might explore his past friendships or meet individuals who once doubted him, demonstrating how far he has come.
These heartfelt moments make the theme of growth feel genuine and earned. New characters also bring fresh humor and emotion into the film. A quirky young recruit on the police force, a nervous yet brilliant scientist, or a hilarious but misunderstood citizen all have the potential to add fun energy while helping the plot progress.
The combination of unique personalities ensures that the audience experiences both laughter and empathy throughout the story. Visual humor plays a big role as well. Zootopia's clever use of animal traits, like sloths working at the DMV, returns with new creative ideas.
The sequel might show fast-talking turtles working in call centers, overly dramatic peacocks in the media industry, or tiny hamsters operating huge construction equipment. The animation team has endless opportunities to turn animal behavior into comedic gold. Meanwhile, action scenes can include playful moments, like
Judy dodging danger with exaggerated rabbit reflexes while
Nick tries to look cool, but ends up stumbling. The emotional heart of the film becomes most powerful during moments of unity.
when different animals support each other despite fear.
Small gestures, like a predator helping a prey stranger, or a community standing together against hate, bring warmth that touches the audience.
These scenes highlight the core message: kindness matters, even in the hardest times. By balancing tension with humor and emotion, Zootopia 2 ensures its story remains enjoyable for all ages.
Children laugh at the funny characters, adults appreciate the thoughtful metaphors, and everyone feels motivated by the positive spirit the movie celebrates. The sequel promises to be a roller coaster of emotions, thrilling, funny, touching, and inspiring all at once. This balance keeps Zootopia's world alive as a place where challenges exist, but love, laughter, and hope always find a way to shine through. Zootopia 2 introduces a range of new characters who bring fresh perspectives, new conflicts, and emotional weight to the storyline.
These additions help expand the world beyond what audiences already know, making Zootopia feel even more diverse and alive.
Each new character plays a meaningful role, serving a purpose that strengthens both the narrative and the central theme of unity. One of the most significant new characters could be a skilled technician or data analyst. A sharp, intelligent predator who once believed in Zootopia's dream but now feels betrayed by the system. This character becomes a moral gray area, portraying how someone can drift from hope into resentment when they feel unseen or unappreciated. Their internal struggle makes the story more compelling, as they may be torn between helping Judy and Nick or falling into the influence of the antagonist.
Their journey explores the theme that people do not become villains overnight.
A pain and disappointment can push anyone in the wrong direction if they do not have
Support. Another important addition might be a young police officer
fresh out of training, who idolizes Judy and Nick. This enthusiastic recruit represents the future of Zootopia, hopeful but inexperienced.
Their eager personality adds liveliness to intense moments,
while their mistakes provide lessons for the team. Their character reminds the audience that progress comes from preparing the next generation to carry forward the values of
fairness and unity. The sequel could also introduce a
community leader from one of the outer districts, perhaps a strong-willed predator or prey who speaks out for their community's needs. They may not trust the city government or the police, believing they are ignored or treated unfairly.
This character's perspective highlights real frustration citizens feel when they think their voices go unheard. Judy and Nick must earn this leader's trust,
providing powerful scenes about building relationships and understanding through communication rather than authority. A new comedic character may also play a memorable role, someone with an unusual
job or quirky personality who delivers hilarious
lines at the perfect moments. This character keeps the movie fun, lightening scenes that deal with heavy topics. They may accidentally become involved in the investigation, causing unintentional chaos while still offering helpful insights. Audiences often fall in love with side characters like this,
and they can become game changers in unexpected ways. The antagonist may have loyal supporters, not evil followers,
but individuals who feel neglected, misunderstood, or frustrated with the current system. These supporting antagonists make the story more realistic, showing how conflict arises not from one villain alone, but from many smaller grievances that go unchecked.
Their presence adds emotional complexity. Judy and Nick realize they must understand what drove them to take such a dangerous path. Instead of simply stopping them, animals from different habitats beyond the city will expand the movie's world.
Each character from the desert, Arctic, rainforest, or underwater districts introduces unique customs and lifestyles that reflect the richness of Zootopia. These interactions give the audience a deeper appreciation of the world's cultural diversity and challenges Judy and Nick to think beyond their familiar environment. Some new characters will act as bridges between
communities, teachers, scientists, artists,
or small business owners who continue to believe in coexistence even when things get hard. They show that hope doesn't always come from the heroes alone. Sometimes, ordinary citizens make the biggest difference by refusing to let fear control their actions. Emotional depth also comes from characters who struggle quietly. A predator parent who worries about their children's safety at school, or a prey teenager who feels guilty for judging their best predator friend. These subtle character arcs show that prejudice hurts real lives. Including these perspectives makes the story grounded and relatable. Together, these new characters enrich the plot by showing different sides of Zootopia's evolving society.
They bring conflict, humor, inspiration, and heart, all essential for a meaningful sequel.
By engaging with these diverse personalities, Judy and Nick realize that their mission is not just about stopping a villain, but helping a city heal. Every character, no matter how big or small their role, contributes to the powerful message. Everyone's story matters in Zootopia 2. The heart of the story pushes the city into a new and more dangerous political era.
After the events of the first film, the unity between predators and prey seemed stable. But it was only the surface piece hiding deeper cracks.
Politicians, media influencers, and business tycoons in Zootopia all have different interests, and some of them are not happy with the new changes.
The film introduces a strong theme. When progress happens, not everyone benefits from it equally.
Those who lose their influence or power might try to destroy the progress and return the world to old divisions.
This becomes the central political conflict that drives tension across the storyline. Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde find themselves facing the most intense struggle of their lives in Zootopia 2. Not a villain with a serum or a group of
criminals, but a war of beliefs that threatens to destroy every bit of progress they fought for. Their job is no longer just policing streets. Now they must protect the soul of the city. Zootopia, once a symbol of diversity, finds itself divided into tension-filled districts, with predators and prey avoiding each other again.
The city that believed anyone can be anything now trembles with doubt.
Judy and Nick know that if they fail now, everything Zootopia represents will collapse, and hate will win. Judy's biggest internal conflict emerges here. She has always believed in justice and equality, always trusted that the system can be fixed. But as she witnesses the return of fear-based segregation, as she sees predators treated like criminals just for being predators, she questions whether her dream was too naive. Some officers lose trust in their own colleagues. Certain shops refuse to serve predator customers again.
Schools begin separating students for safety reasons. Judy feels heartbreak seeing the city go backward.
She carries the guilt that she may not have done enough to protect the peace she once helped restore. Nick, on the other hand, experiences his own emotional struggle.
After joining the ZPD, he felt respected and valued for the first time.
But now, hostile stares and whispered insults return.
Even some prey who once praised him call him dangerous behind his back. Nick acts like he doesn't care, joking, shrugging, giving sarcastic comments. But Judy knows the truth. It hurts him deeply. He had believed that he could finally escape the stereotype he was born into.
But politics tries to push him right back into the role of a predator threat. His biggest fear is that no matter how hard he tries, society will never accept him. Together, Judy and Nick face a rising wave of propaganda. Flyers, speeches, videos, all spreading lies that predators are planning secret attacks.
Social media distorts facts, turning small incidents into proof that predators cannot be trusted. Judy and Nick discover that many civilians don't even want the truth anymore. They just want something to blame. This realization becomes one of the movie's most powerful messages. When people are afraid,
they prefer comforting lies over unsettling truth. As the ZPD fractures, Judy and Nick are assigned to a new task force that includes a mix of predator and prey officers.
It's a risky political decision. Either their unity inspires the city, or their failure becomes an excuse for more division.
The team includes familiar characters like Clawhauser,
who represents hope through his friendly nature, and Chief Bogo, who tries to maintain order but struggles to control a department on the verge of rebellion. Meanwhile, Grey Claw's influence grows.
He speaks so convincingly about predator pride and justice that many predators start seeing him as a hero. But Judy and Nick sense the danger in his words. He doesn't want equality. He wants dominance in the form of a separate, predator-ruled zone.
Opposing him is Leora Volsworth, who continues feeding fear into the prey majority. Each side strengthens the other. The more fear she creates, the more predators run to Greyclaw for protection. And the more predators unite under him, the more prey side with Leora. It becomes a vicious loop of hate. Judy and Nick start gathering evidence to expose both conspirators.
They follow secret meetings, uncover hidden funding sources,
and trace the disappearance of innocent predators back to a disturbing discovery. Greyclaw's own loyal followers have been kidnapping predators to stage false attacks later.
He manufactures crises to justify his extremist movement, proving that real power often comes from creating a problem, then selling yourself as the only solution. This pushes Judy and Nick into dangerous territory.
They must go undercover in predator-dominated areas where prey are not welcome anymore.
For the first time, Judy feels what Nick has felt his entire life, being judged as a threat just because of what she is.
She realizes predators don't fear prey physically. They fear the system that has historically punished them.
Her empathy deepens, and she promises Nick she will fight until predators receive the same respect that prey take for granted. Despite their determination, betrayal hits hard. An officer they trusted leaks their investigation details to a political group. The media twists their mission into prey trying to control predators. Nick is falsely accused of attacking a civilian. A staged video goes viral.
Judy wants to scream the truth to the world, but nobody listens.
The city becomes deaf to reason.
Yet, she refuses to give up, because if she stops fighting, she's letting Zootopia fall apart forever. Their partnership becomes the symbol of resistance.
Civilians gather secretly, predator and prey together, believing in Judy and Nick's message even when the city won't allow them to say it publicly. These moments show a critical truth. Unity starts with small courage. One friend, one family, one neighbor choosing trust instead of fear. As tension peaks, curfew laws are passed, military drones patrol the streets, and suspicion replaces love in once friendly neighborhoods. But Judy and Nick's bond becomes stronger than ever, forged not from convenience, but from battling a darkness that society tried to normalize. Their journey teaches them that protecting unity is not a single victory. It is a constant fight, and the enemy is not predators or prey. It is fear. This heading reveals that the battle for Zootopia's heart is not about winning arguments. It's about reminding everyone what they stand to lose. Hope,
friendship, and the dream that made Zootopia special in the first place. As Zootopia falls deeper into political chaos,
a new battle begins beneath the surface. A secret war fought in shadows where truth is the only weapon. While the city's leaders wage loud campaigns of fear and division, hidden forces work silently to protect the remaining unity of Zootopia. These underground networks become essential to the story of Zootopia 2, revealing that hope often survives in the most unexpected places.
But the danger also grows from the same darkness, because
manipulation and corruption spread fastest where nobody is watching. Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde quickly realize that the official system can no longer be trusted. The government, police leadership, and media have all been influenced, twisted, or outright controlled by extremists like Greyclaw and Leora Volsworth. Anyone who tries to stand against these powerful groups publicly becomes an instant target.
That is why Judy and Nick begin to depend on an underground resistance, a hidden alliance of both prey and predators who refuse to choose hate. This resistance includes surprising new allies.
One of them is Finnick, Nick's old friend from the hustling days, who knows every back alley and secret passage of Zootopia.
Another is Officer Delaney, a prey officer who believes the ZPD's real duty is to protect peace, not politics.
They bring information, safe houses, and communication. Networks that allow Judy and Nick to move freely even while being hunted by corrupt forces inside the police department. There is also a rising wave of young voices, students and youth groups from all districts who share
messages of unity through encrypted communication channels,
graffiti art, and silent protests.
The city begins to witness a new kind of bravery, ordinary citizens choosing to risk everything for the truth.
These small acts carry massive weight, proving that Zootopia's heart is still beating beneath the fear. But while the resistance grows stronger, so does the hidden threat. Greyclaw's faction expands into a secret militia operating in the wilderness around Zootopia. They build training camps, stockpile resources, and recruit predators who feel abandoned or abused by society.
Greyclaw uses pain as fuel, turning wounded pride into dangerous loyalty.
His soldiers believe they are preparing for a future where predators must fight for survival. This belief transforms them into a silent army, waiting for one command that could ignite a city-wide war. Leora Volsworth, meanwhile, uses her media empire to crush dissent before it becomes too loud. Journalists who try to expose the truth disappear. Fact-checking agencies are discredited.
News reports show only what she allows: paranoia, fear, and division. She builds surveillance programs disguised as safety initiatives, but in reality, they track every predator movement.
The threat becomes chillingly clear. One extremist controls the public mind, while the other controls a private army. Together, they are shaping Zootopia into a time bomb. Judy and Nick's investigation uncovers horrifying evidence. Abandoned tunnels beneath the city being converted into secret detention centers, where kidnapped predators are kept and chemically influenced to appear violent later during staged incidents.
The villains are manufacturing proof to justify their lies.
This reveals the darkest theme of the film. Sometimes monsters are created, not born. The deeper Judy and Nick go, the more dangerous each step becomes. Their names are added to a government list, accusing them of betraying the city. Officers loyal to the extremist agenda begin hunting them.
Even former friends hesitate to help out of fear for their families.
Trust becomes a luxury that Judy and Nick cannot afford to give freely anymore.